It's the 4th of July weekend on the campus of UCSD. Hello again, everybody. I'm Greg Porter for George Lanham Video Sports Productions with Corey on the camera. This game in the Pegasus Cup tournament will feature Bullard FC versus the Bonita Rebels. The Rebels are in dark blue and the white numbers, and Bullard FC is in the white jerseys with the blue shorts and the blue numbers. Let's go ahead and get the lineup for Bullard FC. Their keeper is number 3, Skylar Sissel. 00 is Megan Kemple, the forward. Number 4 is defender Jenna Thompson. Number 5 is defender Tori Brown. Number 6 is a midfielder, Shayla Workington. And we're about ready to get underway where Bullard FC is going from left to right, and the Rebels are going from right to left on your picture screen. Number 9 for Bullard FC is Morgan Darling, a forward. Number 10, a defender, is Bridie Burnell. Number 11, a forward, is Nicole Rascon. Number 14, a midfielder, is Megan Sanchez. Number 17, a forward, is Mariah Carrier. Number 19, a midfielder, is Sarah Sissel. Number 21 is defender Giggles Saito. And number 27 is midfielder Bianca Garcia. And we are underway. Let's get the lineup for the Bonita Rebels. Their keeper is Andrea Liano. Number 2 is midfielder Andrea Boyd. Number 3 at midfield is Miranda Vega. Number 4 at midfield is Mackenzie Grace. Number 6 at forward is Tawny Molina. Number 7 is not here. That's Dylan Christensen. Or if she does show up, We will mention her name as she is on the soccer field. Number 8 is defender Casey Morton. Number 9 is defender Victoria Helton. Number 10 is center mid Cassie Castillo. Number 11 is forward Natalia Shavira. Number 12 is midfielder Anissa Ameskua. Number 13 is forward Bliss McCann. Number 14 is forward Lene Giuliano. Number 16 is defender Courtney Puckett. Number 22 is defender Adriana Puente. And number 31 is Joanna Gonzalez, the sweeper. On a soccer ball now is Bullard FC headed toward the attacking area, and they cannot control it on the outside, and so it will be a throw-in for the Rebels. Normal summertime heat here in San Diego, although this week there has been a lot of the swells from a hurricane or what have you, that type of weather down way past the peninsula of Mexico. So it has brought a lot of that humid type stuff earlier in the week, and it broke some records around the county. But it has settled down to a basically picture-perfect day with no clouds and just a normal summertime heat of around 80 degrees. And that ball is going out to the wide. Trying to chase it down is Bullard FC. They cannot get to it again. And the throw in from the back. Bonita Rebels on it right there momentarily is Sanchez. Can't hold on to it long. Her teammates trying to get it. Now the Rebels have it. Ball was swung over to Kemple. She didn't get it, but her teammate has it now. Down to Central. With it is Bullard FC. And a save is made by the keeper, Liano. Liano with Megan Temple right there at the doorstep trying to get it past her. Couldn't quite do it that time. Here's Bridie Burnell. Burnell over to Darling. They take it away, and they send it up to midfield now. Giuliano on a run. Giuliano in the box, and then they take it away in his Central. Giuliano trying to pass it to her teammate down the middle of the box, and nicely intercepted that time by Bullard FC. No score here in the first opening minutes of this soccer match here at the Pegasus Cup 2006. Around a midfield area. Over there to the wide, and now winning it is the Rebels. The Rebels on the attack again. With it is Giuliano again. Lene Giuliano trying to turn and accelerate towards the box, and that ball was taken off her foot and kicked out of play on that far side touchline, and it'll be a throw-in, though, for the Rebels. Rebels trying to continue their attack here. This is their first real challenge attacking-wise in the game. They are making a substitution early on. It's Adriana Puentes coming in. Now it's headed toward the box. Touched quickly that time by Giggle Saito, and then it goes out to the wide, and that ball will be thrown in by the Rebels. Bullard FC not being able to maintain possession. The throw in off of a teammate for the Rebels. Trying to keep it in, and it is going to be out off the foot of Carrier, or take that back, Rascon for Bullard FC. The throw in now in the box, and it just goes past the far post. A big challenge that time for a goal, and they almost put one in the back of the net. But that time it didn't quite go in there. So it's going to be a goal kick for Bullard FC as they look at their first big scenario toward their defense in this game. Off the foot of a few players, still dribbled in the box. Here comes the Rebels trying to get another touch on it. Can they? And it goes past the goal line. The Rebels now beginning to assert themselves a little bit more. Trying to find the space. Trying to get somebody who can get a real good direct shot. Off the goal kick. Brought down nicely that time by Castillo. Castillo, a challenge that time, and then off of her foot. And so now Bullard FC will throw it in. Bridie Brunel, or Burnell, that is. Thinking of the football player, Brunel, last name. Guy, I believe, who plays for the Arizona Cardinals. And boy, are they going to have a pretty doggone good team this year. They throw it in. Correction on that. I don't know why I said the Cardinals. He's playing for somebody else. But either way, the Cardinals will have a good team this year. I was thinking of got mixed up with the former quarterback for the St. Louis Rams, who's now the Cardinal quarterback. The throw in now by Victoria Helton. McCann on the wide of the box. McCann dribbling and turning and trying to get that pass, but it was taken away. Nice, good defense by the white and blue. They push it up the field. And then it'll be now a throw-in. No score here in the first half. Pegasus Cup 2006. Knocked out by Bullard FC. It'll be a throw-in for the Rebels again. Victoria Helton. On a quick touch there by Ameskua. The ball is, there's a whistle now. There's going to be a free kick. I said Ameskua, that was Nissa Amazuka. Off the free kick that time by Sanchez. Now to center circle. Running onto it is Giuliano. Giuliano with speed. Giuliano beating a number of players. Has some room there, but then it's blocked. Blocked nicely that time by Thomason. And out to the wide. And it'll go past the goal line. Beautiful play that time by Jenna Thomason to get it from the soccer ball and make sure that that pass by Giuliano didn't turn out to be an actual shot at her keeper. Still no score. Now we're going to have a CK set piece here for the Bonita Rebels. First of the game. Into the box, and a header just over the top of the box, and they had the right idea that time. That was a pretty one because it just bended right to number 13, Bliss McCann, and she headed it, and it was over the top of the net. And you know what World Cup team does that very well? It's the Germans. They love to head the soccer ball, and that's why they're in the semifinals of the 2006 World Cup. Into the box again as it was intercepted there by McCann. Trying to run onto it. Amazuka. And Anissa Amazuka is going to throw it in. Amazuka's pass is intercepted. The Rebels, they have the touch right there in the middle of the field. But now winning it. Bullard FC running onto it is Sissel for a moment. Gets it out to the wide. Got another teammate, and now they want to get their attack going, as they have not been in the defensive half of the Rebels for a while. It's going to be a throw-in. Throw-in by Megan Sanchez for Bullard FC. Headed toward the box. Trying to get it somebody else to run onto it. Cannot. Into space. Although they get it now, and it goes directly toward the keeper. And Leano has to make her second save of the game. Back up the field in their own defensive third. The Rebels working their way out of it now. getting to midfield, and the pass had too much pace on it that time, looking for Bliss McCann. He got a whistle for a substitution. A couple of substitutions as Bullard FC going to get some fresh players into the game. Coming out of the contest is Nicole Rascon and Sarah Sissel. No score here in the first half. Along the near side, and we'll mention the two players that came in as they touch that soccer ball. It goes out of play on the near side. As that run by number 9, Morgan Darling, couldn't keep it in play. Back up the field now, and now into the central, where Bullard FC has chances again in the space. The challenge there, winning it and keeping it in was Workington. Workington still on the soccer ball. Turning Workington. And then dispossessed, but her teammate has it, and nice little pass to the near side as they go to the attacking third with Morgan Darling. Darling in a corner. Darling blocked off the soccer ball. As the Rebels, real tough on the outside. Still keeping it in. Now with it is Bianca Garcia. Into the box. Sent out of the box now quickly by the Rebels, but they're still working with it. Mariah Carrier. Carrier draws it back to Sanchez. Sanchez looking for Carrier along the wide and cannot get it to her as her pass was a little errant that time. So we still have no score in the first half of this Pegasus Cup tournament game here in 2006. July 4th weekend here at UCSD. The throw-in for the Bonita Rebels. The Rebels throw it in. They have it in their defensive third. And now they send it up. Nice pace on the ball. They work it over to Castillo. Castillo in the center of the field, but it's taken away there by Kemple. Kemple on a run. Kemple routed off the ball that time by Helton. But winning it again and sending it to the box where Liano makes the save. Liano way off her line, not a problem. Able to make that save and drive it to the center circle. Monadaris Castillo. Castillo looking for her teammate on the run. That's Giuliano. Giuliano's beating defenders off the goalie, and she saves it in the last moment going back towards the line. Skylar Sissel almost saw it go in the net, but she stayed with the soccer ball and got it right before the line on a blast by Lene Giuliano. Still no score. Giuliano, beautiful run, though, by the Bonita Rebels. Striker, and now coming down and coming in and making another save, coming way off her line is Sissel. So Sissel showing she's in this game. Still no score in the first half. Greg G.K. Porter here with Corey, my man on the camera, catching all the action here on a nice warm summer July 4th weekend. Coming in now, number 3, Miranda Vega for the Rebels. And they have a throw in from the far side of your picture. Off the challenge. Coming out with it and then striking it again, and it goes up the field and didn't hear any whistles, so it went out past that touch line. They're going to be throwing for the Rebels. It was last off of Bullard FC. Bullard FC from the Fresno area. Come all the way down. They play in a competitive league up there named the Harold S. Young League. And they were victors in the Turlock Turkey Fest. So they had actually won a tournament in their area. Directed over there on off the foot of Puente. And now it goes out of play on the far side. Both teams have played pretty well on the outside to make it tough for either team to do anything. Down the central is where the action has been, as you saw earlier by that run of Giuliano. Right down the middle. Here they come again. Accelerating is McCann, and tries to take a shot, but coming over there nicely was Jenna Thomason. Thomason came into the space, knew that McCann was going to turn and take the shot, but Thomason was there. Otherwise, it would have been a pretty good shot on the keeper. And now, here's Carrier. It goes out, can't possess it to keep it in, and it's thrown in by the Rebels. Sanchez jumped way up to try to get to that one, and now that ball is sent to a retreating back of the defenders of the Rebels. No score here in the first half. Ball toward the Central. They got a couple in the deep back, or they're basically reducing the size of the field. Now on it is Vega. Ball pushed up, headed toward the defensive third, but now on it is Vega. And her teammate helping out Gonzalez on the near side, but it's taken away now. Here goes Darling. Darling on the wide of the box. Nice job in controlling the ball there and then turning, but it was intercepted. You see Kemple. Kemple now staying with a soccer ball, but she was routed off the soccer ball that time by Puente. Now in the box, Darling takes a shot, but there was a player there for the Rebels to keep it from going even further, which would have been dangerous in the 6-yard box. Not quite an offsides call, as it surely could have been one there by the center ref. On the ball now is Castillo. Castillo working out to the wide. Want to go to the attack to the other side and switch it with Boyd. Boyd on the run. And now here's all dangerous Giuliano. Giuliano in the box. Giuliano takes a shot, or a pass it turns out to be, but her teammate can't get onto it. And the ball is kicked off of her, trying to retrieve it back. And a nice smart play that time by Bullard FC. And the young lady is injured right now, and there's going to be injury time here in the first half. And we'll take a break. There's a 0-0 score between Bullard FC and the Bonita Rebels. Well, it was a very fast-moving play that time, and it was all started that time by Lene Giuliano. We hope the young lady that was trying to get to that soccer ball is okay. She looks like she is. She's walking off on her own power. But earlier in another game that was not televised by us, there was a young lady who was injured, and she did not return back in the game. So we hope this young lady will be able to return back in the game. It shows the competitiveness of the athletes out there, young athletes in this Pegasus Cup tournament. As it goes out of play, and it'll be a throw-in. The throw-in is by Joanna Gonzalez. Joanna with a nice throw-in, but is intercepted, met there by actually her teammate was able to get onto it, but couldn't control it. So she'll try it again. And now this time it is intercepted by Bullard FC. Bullard FC on the near side, still trying to control, and it goes off the foot of the Rebels. It'll be a throw-in. Megan Kemple will throw it in for Bullard FC. 0-0 score here in the first half, and there'll be substitutions before we continue on with the action. And even Megan Kemple will be substituted. Fresh players in the contest. Throwing it in was Mariah Carrier, and then now into the defensive third, retreating back the Rebels, and they will be able to throw it in. Carrier now on it. Couldn't possess it long enough. It goes out of play, and we get a little breeze here coming from the east, blowing across the field widthwise, and that cools things down, both for us and the players. Darling, or rather Helton to throw it in, and a whistle. The foul into space, and it'll be a free kick for the Rebels. Lots of youth running track here, getting themselves positioned up for their next competition. And another foul into space. It will be a free kick now for the Rebels. So the Rebels with another free kick, and they're moving the attacking third now. Cassie Castillo will take the set piece here. Castillo looking for a teammate. It is deflected. Has another teammate touch it, and being able to make the save is Sissel. Molina got her cleat on it and was able to strike it towards Sissel, and Sissel able to make the save off that redirected shot. Castillo now trying to get it over there to Giuliano. Giuliano has it. Giuliano finds a way to get to that soccer ball. Into the box, and again looking for Molina, but too much pace on it. Sissel able to control it, keep it in her hands for the save. Puente off the header, but it goes on over to Darling. Darling drawing it back to her teammate. And she was looking for Nicole Rascon along the far side, and that ball had too much velocity on it for Rascon to get to it. Going to be substitutions, this time for the Bonita Rebels. 16, and that's Courtney Puckett is into the contest, along with Mackenzie Grace is into the contest. Still no score here in the first half. Sanchez bringing it down, but couldn't control it. Goes out the far side touchline. The Rebels will throw it in. Both teams being able to do their best attacking situations down the center of the field, although there have been occasional tries on the wide by both teams to get centering passes and try to make some things happen, and they just weren't able to connect, redirected shots and things. To the wide side it goes out. Lastly touched by the Rebels. A throw in for Bullard FC, the Fresno Kids in his tournament here in the Pegasus Cup 2006. And it goes to the outside now, and it's going to be a throw-in by Bullard FC. Bullard want to try and see if they can get to that attacking third again. And beautiful heel try that time by Nicole Rascon, but nobody there. And there's some debris that is near that far side touchline. The center ref doesn't want it there to where one of the players might get hurt. And she gets rid of that. Very conscientious center ref. Looking towards the health of the kids out there playing. And now here comes Darling. Darling on the dribble. Darling making a move. Morgan Darling gets it over to her teammate who has some space on the wide. And let's see who it's off of. And it is off of the Rebels. It's going to be a CK. Taking it is going to be Mariah Carrier. Sarah Sissel making a nice, good, clean run. And it has worked out for her team now for a set piece here. And now she is going to take the CK. I believe that is only the first CK of the match for the Rebels. Into the 6-yard box, intercepted, and they'll get it, try again. As knocked past the goal line by Miranda Vega. Sissel again. See where she wants to go this time. Want to draw it outside the box and into service into the box. It's intercepted. Still there, though, as a redirect, and the save is made. Finding where that soccer ball was that time was Rascon. And that is the end of the first half. Rascon, the last try for anybody to try to get it in the back of the net. And the keeper, Liano, was there. So it is 0-0 at the end of the first half of action. Stick with us. We'll be back with more from the Pegasus Cup tournament here at UCSD. Second half set to get underway. The Bonita Rebels are going from left to right on your picture screen, and from right to left is Bullard FC. It's a 0-0 score at halftime as we start the second half. And now trying to get an early chance. On it is Giuliano, a shot and a save. Keeper going after it. Giuliano again, and just missed on a second try. The ball just rolling just past the post. And so, dodging the big early chance by the Rebels is Bullard FC. But a part of the fact was that they were there in the central trying to help the keeper not get that ball past her. Running onto it now is Sissel. Sissel on the wide side and a whistle. And it is now going to be a throw-in. Another whistle again. The center ref. Trying to get the linesman to do something. Maybe it's the fact of the whistles that the gentleman was using on the outside. They probably are trying to get that stopped so the play can go on and the players not get confused by those whistles. And a whistle now out of field, and it is going to be a free kick. Free kick for the Rebels. Another big opportunity here. At midfield. On a 0-0 score here in the second half. Down to Central, that's where they like to do their damage. And it was kicked away at the last moment. Struck nicely by the back of the Bullard FC. That has kept them from allowing a goal to be in the back of the net so far in this contest. They have played very good defense. A bending ball by the Rebels on a CK here. And it's in a 6-yard box, but fighting it is the keeper, Sissel. Sissel has found a way to make some pretty good saves in this game. Here goes Darling. Darling weaving around one player, gets around a second one. Darling still on a soccer ball, gets it out to the wide, gets a return pass, down to Central, and it dispossessed that time. But there's going to be a foul. They're going to call, I believe it was Gonzalez, no? Couldn't quite get the number on the foul. Here's right at the keeper, and the keeper being able to make the save. Liano. Good set piece try that time. And it turned out to be a direct shot. Both teams being able to show their abilities to play this game at a pretty good clip. And that is why it's becoming more and more entertaining as coming in the box and looking for that call was Giuliano. And Giuliano not getting the call. She wanted a potential penalty kick that time, but it did not occur. Giuliano down in the box, and we'll take a timeout as they check on Lene Giuliano. Sign when you're back here. Lene Giuliano kind of hobbling and getting off the soccer field, and they're going to bring in another player. And they bring in Natalia Javira, and Giuliano. They are going to check on her, and hopefully they're thinking hopefully they can get her back in the game. And let me see now. Are they going to give a penalty shot? No, they're not going to give a penalty shot. They're just going to go ahead and have a free kick from there. In the center of the field, and the ball pushed out towards the wide, but met at midfield, and now on it is Bianca Garcia. Garcia trying to control it, can't do it. The Rebels trying to head toward the 18-yard box, but being strong in the space is Bridie Burnell. Burnell doing a fine job of not allowing the player to get around her or that ball to get around her. And so now there's going to be a throw-in for the Rebels. Bianca Garcia, the Rebels winning it. Collected here quickly by Carrier. Now this one directed at the keeper, able to make the save though, is Sissel. Deflected as her pass intercepted. And now on it, Molina on the outside. Going to be a throw-in. Throw-in for the Rebels. And a whistle, and it's going to be a foul. And a free kick. Free kick now in the defensive third for Bullard FC with a 0-0 game here in the second half. Up toward midfield. Stop, collected, and then we had a whistle, and so now Bullard FC trying to make something happen with Darling in the middle of the deflection. Bullard FC still on a soccer ball. Drawing it back. And then now on the near side for a run. Javira. Or rather, that was Rascon, and then Rascon trying to retrieve it now. And it goes past the goal line. It'll be a goal kick. So goal kick for the Rebels. Still 0-0. As this morning has ensued on, it has become a lot cooler with the breeze over here. UCSD here on a coastline. here in San Diego. A couple of substitutions, and we will announce those names as they touch that soccer ball. To the wide side, going after it now is Kimple. Kimple now, Megan did not hold on to it. It went out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in for the Rebels. So the Rebels in their own defensive third going to throw it in, try and see if they can get some more offense going again. As here in the second half, they have had a couple of very good chances, could not get it in the back of the net. Throw in by the Rebels. And a whistle. And it's going to go the other direction. Going to be a free kick. Foul against the Rebels in that space as you see there. And so now, Bridie Burnell with a free kick. Burnell, her pass intercepted. Got her teammate on it now, Workington. But that one's intercepted by the Rebels. They send it back, chasing it down as Burnell, and she will throw it in. Burnell doesn't find a teammate there, as on the inside it was intercepted by the Rebels. Rebels now at midfield trying to collect, and they win it, but they send it right there to Carrier, who was there, and now Carrier and company have to retreat back as here come the Rebels. And a foul on the play. And it'll be a free kick. So a free kick for the Rebels as they continue here to try to see if they can get it in the box and get a score. But the defense of the Bullard FC has been well in this game. And that's why we're still at 0-0. Bend it into the box, but met there by Burnell. And Burnell trying to get it out there. And it was lastly knocked out by the Rebels, and so a throw in. Darling trying to get to it, a collision. Teammate runs onto it on her run from the back, and then it's collected there and kicked out of play. I believe that's Puckett. Courtney Puckett driving it out of play. Collecting nicely there is Workington. Workington on her reverse of direction into the box. Dispossessed. Workington trying to get it again, and she won't be able to. Too much pace on it, so the Rebels. Substitutions for the Rebels. Helton, Victoria Helton into the contest now for Bonita. And they also have Bliss McCann. Throw it in. Headed toward the central now. McCann and now her teammate, Avira. And then back into the contest, Giuliano. Giuliano centering pass. Finally collected, but then taken away. Nicely done that time. Playing well into space was Shayla Workington. And Workington made this ball head up back the other direction, as the Rebels thought they had something going in that last sequence. Substitutions again for now Bullard FC. Both teams keeping the fresh players in the game. On the near side, Shayla Workington. A lot of pace on it for Rascon. Can't control it. Goes past Workington and her teammate all the way to midfield now. But running on to it is Sissel. Sarah Sissel in the space. And they were covering well, but she lost it, and the Rebels now trying to attack. But there in the space was Jenna Thomason. Thomason, a nice play. Keep that from going in the 18-yard box. The Rebels now from the far side to throw it in. The Rebels' pass is intercepted. trying to advance it forward with Saito. Giggles, Saito. And then a touch there by Garcia. On another Rebels. Over to Andrea Boyd. Boyd into space, but not for long alone. As coming over there was Workington. On it now is Saito. Saito working to the wide side. Looking for Kimple. And it was way too much pace for Kimple to handle that one. So the Rebels will throw it in. Still 0-0 here in the second half. Here's Garcia. Bianca trying to find somebody. You're looking for maybe a run by Kimple, but it didn't get there. It was intercepted. Here's Bianca Garcia again, but taken away and then directed toward the central. On it there quickly, though, was Bullard FC to push it upfield. But now, as winning it was the Rebels. The Rebels again with Boyd. Boyd sending it toward the 6-yard box, and then another shot toward the 6-yard box. And trying to collect it, and they have a number of players into space, and they get onto it. And lastly, touched down by Boyd. So nice little bit of defense right there. They make a good umbrella to not allow a big play. Does Bullard FC. Rascon. Quickly touched by Saito, but can't hold on to it. Saito now has to cover. So does their teammate there, Sissel, to the wide and the whistle. And that's going to go against Sissel, and it'll be a free kick. So the Rebels now a free kick right outside the box. See what they do. Do they take a shot or do they get a pass or a redirect? See what they do. Still no 0-0 score here in the second half. A straight shot, and it goes over the net. That had a lot of velocity on it, and it just had to be brought down a little bit, and it would have been a goal. No chance that time would have been for Sissel. But it didn't happen that way, so we are still at a 0-0 score here in the Pegasus Cup 2006 tournament on the campus of UCSD. And now, it's going to be a goal kick, and the goal kick will be taken by Jenna Thomason. Thomason, one of the defenders in the back who's played well, gets it up there to Burnell, Bridie Burnell. Burnell still on a soccer ball, and now gets her teammate. I believe that was Saito that directed it up forward. And it goes off one of the all-blue of the Rebels, and it'll be a throw-in. A throw-in for Bullard FC. Kemple trying to turn and could not possess it along that far side touchline. A throw in for Bonita Rebels. And that ball working its way to the central. They have a player who's there, but an offsides call. She was a little bit behind the last defender. And the linesman called it offside, so the free kick. If she could have marked up that time, they had a big play, which could have resulted in a 1-0 game. But it didn't. And so now we are at the center of the field. Both teams trying to find out how they can get that ball down the field as the midfielders playing tough. Goes to the wide, and it's going to be a throw-in for the Bonita Rebels. Their own defensive half of the field. And quickly with a throw-in, they get it in the Rebels' defensive half. On it now is Garcia. Garcia finds out what she wants to do with it. Gets it up to her teammate Kemple. Kemple drawing it back to Garcia. And that ball is going to go out of play. But they say it was last touched by the Rebels. And so now it's going to be a throw-in for Bullard FC. Going to be a throw-in. And they throw it in and get it over to Garcia. Garcia trying to get around two players and then just drives it towards the keeper, and she picks it up at the last moment, Liano. Liano had to find it and did. Otherwise, there were two of the white and blue at her doorstep to try to drive it back past her into the back of the net. And now in the area there is Workington. Workington get it over to Rascon. Rascon trying to get it around a couple players, could not. Taken away by the Rebels. Rebels looking for a nice run on the near side, and that's by Giuliano. Giuliano, maybe the quickest player on the field, and could not hold on to it. As good defense on the wide. That has definitely made this game the 0-0 score, because Bullard FC has played well in different spaces when they've had to, when they've been asked to. And now coming in is a new player for Bullard FC, as Bridie Burnell coming out of the contest. We'll mention that player. She touched the soccer ball. And it comes over, and a last-minute try like that was Javiera. Natalia, that was. Natalia Javiera trying to get one in the back of the net. Wasn't to be that time, and Megan Kimple will go out, and it'll be a throw-in for the Rebels. Going to be a substitution, though, for Bonita. Coming into the contest is Cassie Castillo. Bullard FC played well defensively, done what they could offensively. Now in the 18-yard box, asked to be defenders again, and they knock it past the goal line. Nice job again, and here come the Rebels again, trying to answer the call, so to speak, and put it in the back of the net. Javiera. Natalia off the header, and it goes to the other side of the 6-yard box. And onto it now is Amazuka, and she tried to control it, could not. However, it was knocked lastly off a Bullard FC player, and it'll be a throw-in. Pass Kimple in the 18-yard box now. They're trying to get another strike on it, cannot, as Bullard FC comes out with it. And now they have the numbers. On it now, on a counterattack. Trying to get a pass toward Darling, and it wasn't going to get there, but they still have players there in the space. Rascon, and let's see who it was lastly touched off of. It was lastly touched off of Rascon, and it'll be a throw-in for the Rebels in their own defensive third. 0-0 score in the second half. Both teams have played well, though, defensively, and they've done what they can offensively. And the Rebels, a couple of good chances. They just cannot get it in the back of the net, and one of the shots off the free kick was just dynamite. They just couldn't bring it down underneath the crossbar. So now it will be a throw-in. Rascon, Nicole. No, she's going to give it away to her teammate, Megan Sanchez, who gets it to Rascon. Rascon back to Sanchez. Sanchez sends it in the box. Intercepted at the top of the box. But they still have a player there outside the box. And the Rebels collecting it. And now they'll get a counterattack going up the field. Turning there to try to go get to it was McCann. And it goes out of play at a far side touchline. McCann wanted to get to that one and just could not. It had too much pace on it. So Bullard FC to throw it in as they want to go back to that offensive mindset they just had. Both teams playing well on the outside. They've matched up well with each other, cover well with each other. The other team on the outside and in the space, they made it tough to try to thread passes to the central, to try to get shots. Both teams have played this one well, been in this game completely, at least from a mental perspective, and they've shown it out there on the field physically. Throwing it in is Garcia. Garcia can't get her teammate to hold on to it, and it'll be a throw in now for the Rebels. Rebels in the defensive half of Bullard FC. Garcia, second try on it, and gets it over her teammate. Her teammate, Kemple, trying to accelerate, was met there, and then that ball, when it went out to the wide, they just could not get Workington to make that run because Workington couldn't control it. It went out of play, and now as they have another chance as it was knocked out by the Rebels, man, there's going to be a foul. Foul's going to work against Bullard FC. Time running out in this game. Both teams, if either one could come up with a goal, that'll probably be the one that wins it. And take and dispossess for the ball at the last moment. Beautiful job there by Thomason, because Giuliano knew that she had a big chance there, and Thomason was in a space making a big critical play to keep Giuliano from turning and going against her keeper. Big challenge there, but the Rebels win it. Rebels still on the offensive attack now. Castillo drawing it back to her teammate, and a challenge that goes out of play. Pocket colliding with one of the Bullard FC players, and Puckett will throw it in. Courtney going to try to look for a teammate. Nobody there in the space, although coming in the last second was Helton. Couldn't control it. But now her teammates have it. It's drawn back now to the central. And quickly on it was Workington, and getting it out of danger to the outside was to Kemple. Megan Kemple looking for Darling on a run. Darling on a dribble. Darling falls down. And it is won now by the Rebels, but Darling back up again as she intercepts the pass to the outside. Darling for a try. And that's the end of the game. The last chance there for Bullard FC, but the Rebels show they can play tough on the outside, and so has Bullard FC done the same. And both teams making it very tough, and only the central tries or a couple of set pieces have been the ones for any chance of putting it in the back of the net. But both teams have found a way to be where they need to be. The keepers have played well, and this turns out to be a 0-0 game. And both teams are going to be a load full for anybody else in this Pegasus Cup 2006 tournament. We hope you've enjoyed all the action. I'm Greg Porter for George Landman Video Sports Productions, along with Corey on the camera. And stick around, there'll be comments and interviews, some of those who participated in this Pegasus Cup tournament game. Greg Porter back here with the Pegasus Cup 2006 tournament with the Bullard FC, who came down here from the Fresno area. And the girls are going to say their names and talk a little bit about their trip coming down here and how much they enjoyed the tournament so far. And you are?
Mariah Carrier. And it took about 7.5 hours to get here. The weather's nicer here. I'm homeschooled, and my teacher is my mom. So.
Okay.
And I play everywhere.
All right, fantastic. Oh, wow, almost barely caught that one. Let me get the next player here for Bullard FC.
My name's Nicole Raspone, and I play left forward. The school I go to is Baird, and I'm in 6th grade. And my favorite teacher is Mr. Snyder. And my trip coming up here was like 6-7 hours too, and took forever, and I didn't like it. And it's nice here. I like it better than Fresno.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let me talk to your teammate on the outside. Tell us who you are.
I'm Morgan Darling, and I go to Malik School, and my favorite teacher is Miss Martindale. It took us about 8 hours because there was a fire on one of the highways, and it feels really nice down here. And it does.
Greg Porter back here with some more Bullard Football Club players from the Fresno area. And you are?
I am Shayla Workington, and I play right midfield. I go to Gibson Elementary, and my favorite teacher is Mr. Wilson. It took me 6 to 7 hours to get up here. It was a while. So yeah.
How do you like San Diego?
It's nicer than Fresno, as people have been saying, because it's just like Fresno is hotter than here, so it's more cool down here, and it's more relaxing.
Okay.
So yeah. That's it.
My name is Bridie Burnell.
Louder.
My name is Bridie Burnell, and I go to Webster and Madera Ranchos, and it took us a long time to get here. We were listening to MCR 30 Seconds to Mars and Flyleaf. And there was a lot of traffic. And I like it here because there's a 5-story mall.
All right. Okay, your teammate to the outside?
Okay, my name is Megan Kemple. It took us 6 hours to get here because we left really early. I go to Manchester Gate, and my favorite teacher is Miss Stolpestad.
Okay, one last thing you girls would like to say for your team and your enthusiasm in this tournament, a cheer or what have you?
Well, I think that we have a big chance, that's all.
Yeah, we do. I agree with her.
Greg Porter back here with some more Bullard FC players. And you are?
Skylar Sissel, and I play goalie and stopper. It took us forever to get here, and I go to Star Elementary. What else?
I don't know. What's your favorite teacher?
Oh yeah, I don't have a favorite teacher. And we had to leave my baby brother at home.
How old's your baby brother? How old is he?
How old is he, Mom? Mom! How old is Eric? 20 months. My brother's 20 months.
You said baby brother, so that pretty much says it all right there. But let me talk to your teammate in the middle.
Hi, I'm Marley Carrier. I'm homeschooled. I play everywhere except for goalie. And it took us. I don't really know much about it. My mom knows more than me. I have this thing called turf toe. And you know how when you jam your finger, it gets a little swollen? That's what happened to my toe, and
Athletes have it.
yeah, I did it in indoor about 4 months ago, and then it just like would go away, and then it would come back, and I did something really bad to it, and it won't go away. So I have to keep this boot on.
And hope it gets better one day. Hopefully fast. Anything else?
I'm homeschooled, and my mom is my teacher, and it took us like 7 hours to get here.
Okay.
And Mariah's my sister.
All righty. Your teammate to the outside?
My name is Sarah Sissel, and we're twins. And I go to Star Elementary, and it took us forever to get here because of LA traffic. And
Sorry.
we got here really late, and I like it here because the weather is nicer than Fresno. And I play holding midfielder, and sometimes I play right midfield.
Well, the weather might be better, but you guys have a great football team up there, college football team up there, and it's fun to watch them whenever they play nationally. One last thing you guys would like to say. I was referring to Fresno State. One last thing you guys would like to say for your club?
Nothing. I got nothing.
Cheer or anything?
Oh, a cheer maybe.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Go Bullard! That's all. That's all. We have nothing.
Greg Porter back here with some more Fresno FC Bullard, and a team who played real well in this tournament. And tell us who you are.
Hi, I'm Jenna Thomason, and I go to Gibson Elementary, and it took about a long time to get here because of LA traffic, and that's it. Well, wait, and I don't really exactly go to Gibson anymore since I'm going into 7th grade now.
Okay.
I'm going to Tenaya Middle School.
Let me talk to your teammates.
I'm Audra Saito. What else do I say? Oh yeah, I go to Gibson, like her, and her. And my favorite teacher was probably Mr. Wilson. And oh yeah, I play left defender most of the time. And oh yeah, and my nickname is Giggles because, well,
She laughs a lot.
yeah. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Tori Brown. I go to Bullard Talent, and I play stopper. And it took us 10 hours to get here.
10?
And she got car sick. She threw up. And that's all.
Okay. Well, hopefully, you trip down here. The next time will be a lot better because you guys will be used to it. And with the rest of this particular time you come down here, good luck in the rest of the tournament. Back here with the Bullard FC young ladies who played real well in this Pegasus Cup tournament 2006. So tell us who you are.
Hi, my name is Megan Sanchez. I play left midfield. I go to Steinbach Elementary. My favorite teacher is Miss Williams. And the trip here was very long. I got really tired. And there's a lot of traffic, and that's it.
Okay.
Oh. Hi, my name is Bianca Garcia. I go to Polk, and my favorite teacher is Ms. Rivas. I'm in 6th grade. The trip here was long, but I was watching DVDs, movies, and I don't know. That's all.
Oh, great. I used to make those trips going up to Vallejo, California. We didn't have that, so it was even longer back then. One last thing you girls would like to say for your team, your parents watching this, or anything like that, or a cheer?
Sam. I'm going to say it's here.
Okay.
Go Bullard!
Many around the country have seen the competitive nature of the girls in a tournament that's only a few weeks from now called the Surf Cup here up there in Del Mar, California. Well, not too far from Del Mar, California is this UCSD, and I'll tell you what, there was a great competitive game today that we watched in this Pegasus Cup tournament 2006 between Bullard FC and the team down in the South Bay, the Bonita Rebels. We hope you enjoyed the competitive nature of this game. Even though there was no score, it was the good brand of soccer here in this tournament. I'm Greg Porter for Corey on the Camera saying take care of yourself. God bless, and save this one on the hard drive.